Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm recording on my laptop today, because my hand's been jerking when I held my phone. So I'm recording on my laptop so that way my camera won't jerk as much. I apologize if I look or sound weird. I am still getting over the stomach bug. It's not the flu, it's not the coronavirus. I've been tested for both of those. So, yeah, I, I just, slept for 13 hours yesterday. I woke up today and I was like, I need to make a video because I'm bored. So here it is. So I thought I would make a video about Tourette syndrome, and something that happened about, I don't know, probably it's March now, so maybe 6 months ago. It was back in October, sometime around October. So for those of you that don't know, Tourette's is a syndrome. It's kind of rare, and there's a whole list of criteria to diagnose it and everything. But basically, it's a tic disorder, and it's vocal, motor, various types of tics. And basically, a tic is just any kind of repetitive motion, sound, anything. So a lot of times people will some part of their body will jerk repeatedly, or maybe it's a certain phrase, repeating a certain syllable, or sniffing the nose, inhaling deeply, clearing the throat, jerking the head, those kind of things. And it's uncontrollable. It's not like the person wakes up in the morning and goes, "Oh, I'm gonna do this today." It just happens. Sometimes a vocal tic could be curse words, and it's not common that happens, but it is a thing. And a lot of people don't know about Tourette syndrome or tic disorders because they're so rare. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, the person's just doing that just to be doing it, just to get attention," and it's like, no, that's not why. Because why? If you're gonna go around and pretend like you have Tourette's or tic disorder, it's not fun. People stare at you, people will mock you. I'm not speaking from my own experience because I don't have Tourette's or anything like that, but I know people that do, and I've just seen the reaction of the public, and it's like, wow, really harsh. And so why would a person fake it? I don't really understand. So, they wouldn't voluntarily choose to have Tourette's. It's not like, they just decide to have it. So anyway, so it happened October-ish which I don't think I've revealed my university on this channel, but if I did, oh well, because it was on the news anyway, so now I can talk about it. So I wasn't at my university this past fall. I was doing my field work, but I'm in this group on Facebook with my, well, mainly it's my class, which would have been 2022, but, I graduated in 2020, so I was in all those groups. And, everybody talks in the groups, so I didn't hear about it until, probably the next day after this happened. Someone started a petition, and it was a whole big thing. But there was a student who had Tourette's. Well, he still has it, but in the context of the story, he had Tourette's. And his was a very rare form where he would say curse words and very offensive racial terms, for example, the N-word, which I'm mixed race. I'm half black, half white, black being African American and white being Caucasian. And so the N-word is very offensive to me. If someone screamed it in the middle of the street, I would be like, dude, what the heck, But what happened was, because of all the Black Lives Matter movements and everything, people got offended by this student yelling out that word. And the student would explain every time that he would say the N-word, he would be like, "Hey, I apologize, here's why I said it, I didn't do it intentionally, it just came out. And it was a big debate among the university and among the students because, like me, a lot of them were either all the way black or African American or whatever, or on the disability aspect of he can't help it, so deal with it kind of thing. And I kind of see both sides. I don't agree with what the university did at all. I strongly disagree with them, and unfortunately, there was nothing they could do at this point with all the students and everything. But basically, what happened was someone took offense to the student saying the N-word or whatever the racial slur was, and they went to people about it, people in charge, and they told them, and they said, we're offended by this, and you should take some action. And so the university decided to remove the student from campus because he had Tourette's. And at the time, I was dealing with my own disability discrimination, which I can't get into yet because of certain things, but there was a lot. So this kind of fueled the fire to that too. I was dealing with my own problems, plus now I was angry at the university for doing what they did. But anyway, the students did a petition, and a bunch of us signed it. Like, there was a lot of signatures saying the student should remain on campus because, like, he's a person. Even though he has Tourette's, he can't help it. Like, it's not something he can control. And honestly, like, if he apologizes for it, like, I don't see a problem with him using the N-word or whatever racial slur he used. Like, he can't help it. Like, I understand that. Like, if he had to explain 60 million times a day, I have Tourette's, here's why I did that. And then I have to explain every single time that he said something, here's what Tourette's is. Like, that would be overwhelming for a person. And, I'm not saying that just because someone apologizes, it makes everything okay. But, I understand. I know what disability is. I know that you can't control it. So, like, I'm not going to be angry if someone screamed the N-word at me and then told me why, So anyway, yeah, so they had a petition, and all of us signed it. I signed it as well. And I wasn't even there, but just the idea that, like, this was going on, and people were sharing it on Facebook, and, like, the news was sharing it. Well, they came to the school and did, like, a story on it. And I just got angrier, that's the word. I just became angrier the more I watched it and heard about it. And I got into some debates with some students because, I can see both sides, but I also lean more towards the disability part of it because, growing up with a disability myself, like, I know it's uncontrollable. I know it sucks when people stare at you when they, just interacting with the public. Sometimes it really sucks having a disability. So I leaned more towards the disability part of the debate, although I was able to understand the racial part of it, because like I said, I'm mixed race, and I come from a small town where most people are white. So, we haven't had a lot of prejudice, but we've had some in my family, and in my town, and just in life. So I kind of see where people were angry. But, like I said, I understand the disability part more, so I advocated for that. So basically, the whole petition was that the student should stay on campus, and the university shouldn't decide to remove him from campus. But they decided that because the student was disrupting the whole university, basically, they would remove him and he would study from home, which at the time it was okay because, well, it wasn't okay, but like in their minds it was okay because the university was online. Mostly, like, some classes were real, but most classes were virtual because this was during 2020 when COVID was still happening, which COVID is still happening in 2021, but not as severe. So anyway, COVID happened, it was bad, so most classes were online anyway, so, like, in their minds it was like, it's okay, like, he'll just go online, he'll go home, because the student wasn't even from the university. Well, he didn't live near the university. He lived like 2-3 hours away. So he had to pack up and leave and go home to his family's house. And I'm not going to say the student's name, obviously, but I mean, seriously, if you want to find it, like, it's not that hard. But anyway, yeah, so that's basically the story. And the part that really upset me the most was, like, people were discussing making t-shirts and doing all these, like, protesting things. And, like, while I agree that protesting and publicly, I guess publicly standing up for your rights and for your beliefs is fine, it's not going to get anything done. Like, the way to get stuff done is to bring your words and bring your actions at the same time. So, like, write letters, try to change the policies, because, in the university's idea was that, go with what the majority wants, and in their mind the majority was keep students safe because there was such a high risk of injury and concern because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And, like, where I'm from, Black Lives Matter is taken very seriously, very strongly. People were, like, going nuts over here. So in their minds, if the student were to say the N-word to the wrong person and something were to happen to him by not necessarily Black people, but angry protesters who were there just to protest, like the Black Lives Matter movements, they were afraid that he would get hurt and it would be on the university because, the university is there for the students, so if something would happen to the students, it's on the university basically. Especially if it was at a university functioning event. University sanctioned event, that's the word. The university funded or whatever. So, I don't agree with the university. I don't agree with what they did. But the part that made me angrier was the fact that, 3 days after all this happened, it was a big topic in the group and everything, and everybody was upset about it, obviously. It just kind of faded in the background. No one talked about it. No one asked how the student was doing. Everyone just kind of avoided it. And, that bothers me in a lot of ways, because, like, myself, growing up with a disability, and living with that, I feel like a lot of times disability gets pushed on the back burner of things. Like, just the basic, like, inclusion of things. So, for example, audio description is a good example. So, like, everybody knows what closed captioning is, which is for the deaf or hard of hearing, whatever you prefer. But no one knows what audio description is. And as a blind person, that drives me nuts because I'm like, it talks to you, it tells you what's happening on the screen. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. And, it's just, like, people just seem to forget about disability. Even like recently with the whole LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, etc., etc., disability's never been mentioned. When they had the presidential debates, like last year, 2019, 2020, disability wasn't hardly mentioned at all. And, like, that angered me in so many ways because disability is such a majority that people just don't see it as that, and they're like, oh well, disability doesn't really matter. So anyway, yes, I was very offended by what my university did, and with what happened after that, because, like, no one really cared. It seemed like, as long as it wasn't, talked about anymore, like, everybody just kind of forgot about it. And I thought about contacting the student to ask how they were doing, but I didn't want to be like that person that's like, hey, I heard your story on the news, and I want to see how you're doing. Like, I don't want to seem nosy, but, like, I genuinely want to know because, like, I feel what that student is dealing with. I mean, I don't have Tourette's and everything, but like as a person with a disability, I understand at least some of that, what that's like to be basically put on the back burner of society and of what like the majority of the people, they don't really care. So yeah, so that really drove me nuts, and um, like I said at the time, I was having my own problems with. Sorry, my roommate's cat's like beside me. I was having my own problems with the university, which I can't go into yet. But like, it was just really upsetting. And yeah, there's really no point to this story actually, besides just disability needs to be discussed more in our culture, and I mean, there's no like happy ending to this story, obviously, because the student had to leave campus, and basically, even though yes, the student was provided with equal opportunity, or as people call it, separate but equal, as in, sorry, my roommate's calling me. But yeah, so this, the student was provided with equal opportunity, but not technically because the student was at home. So they didn't get the full aspect of going to campus, seeing friends, hanging out, doing social activities, joining clubs, even like getting all the food, because like food's important. And going to college, like the student was a freshman at the time, getting the full experience of college, like that was denied to him because he had Tourette's. And you see this a lot in the, during the desegregation, like in the 1960s, etc., with black versus white, they had the whole separate but equal thing, which is like terrible, but that's what the university was basically doing. I'm not going to say my university's name because, like, legal stuff, but it really made me angry, and I just want to put that out there because, like, how can we be in America and still let this happen? I'm not shocked by it because, like I said, I've already had problems with my university before, and it's, like I said, I've had disability, so I know I'm not shocked. I'm just upset that this whole situation even happened, and that the university who prides itself on equality and diversity would decide that just because a student has a disability, we're going to say, oh, sorry, you don't belong here. And I don't know what happened to the student. I don't know if they went to another university. I would have. I don't know, actually. I might have. I might have stayed there and, like, argued with them, but after a while I would have just moved on. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times you see this with a lot of people that face discrimination. It just gets to be too much. So, it's stressful. But yeah, so I just want to share that story and just bring awareness to it. So, gotta go now. My dog's barking. Bye.